So I've seen a lot of videos circulating with a lot of misconceptions about Allah sending signs and how you can't out-dua anything, hoping for some miracles to happen when there's red flags all around you, that kind of thing. So we'll try to address most of them as we can. Number one, a lot of videos claim that Allah only sends positive signs to your dua if it is good for you, or negative if it is bad for you. But anyone that keeps praying and making istikhara and making dua knows that's not the case. Allah sends both positive and negative signs. And He never sends only one kind, it's both. Why? Because there are signs that are what I like to refer to as test signs. They're there literally just to test you, to piss you off, to frustrate you. That's the point. وعسى أن تكرهوا شيئا وخير لكم وعسى أن تحبوا شيئا وشر لكم والله يعلم وأنتم لا تعلمون. There may be a matter that you hate, but it's actually good for you. And there may be a matter that you love, but it's actually bad for you. Allah knows and you do not know. So obviously the famous question, well, how the hell am I supposed to distinguish between the two? He sends two signs, yeah, you're right, yeah, he sends the two signs, but how am I supposed to know which ones are actually the real signs and which ones are just fake to test me? What does istikhara mean, guys? It comes from the word tastakhir, which means seek guidance. So istikhara means seeking Allah's guidance. Now, a lot, when they refer to istikhara, they don't do it sincerely. That's why they don't get Allah's guidance, because you don't do it sincerely. For example, I love this person so much and I will be with them no matter what it takes. But I just decided for fun, I guess, I'm gonna pray istikhara as well. That's not a sincere istikhara. That's not from the heart. Because Allah knows what you reveal and what you conceal. He knows you're planning on being whatever it takes, you're still going to be with try to be with that person, whatever it takes. So you're not actually seeking Allah's guidance. But let's go with the same scenario. I love that person so much, even more than the previous. And I want to be with them, but I am willing to throw my trust in the hands of Allah. I am willing to do it. That's a sincere istikhara. Which is why in the delusions video I made this powerful dua I like to refer to, which is the one, Ya Allah, give me an undeniable sign if they're the one for me. And do not be afraid to mention the second part, because a lot of people still are afraid of mentioning it. And if they're bad for me, remove them from my heart. Remove them, right? What is a good way of distinguishing between true signs and test signs? Well, true signs always come first, because test signs are meant to what? Test you. Exactly. You just began your dua, right? So why would Allah test you with test signs if you don't even know the answer yet? So the signs that come to you first start to merely convince you they're the true signs. Another thing, test signs almost always come after you believe the true signs. The test signs come after that, when you believe the true signs. Because if you don't believe the true signs, again, then why would Allah test you? You're not even sure, you think those are fake signs from the beginning. But as soon as you're convinced, that's when He switches it. And anyone can attest to this. What happens when you keep making dua over and over and over and over? Your life becomes miserable, right? Because Allah's testing you. Because dua, we need to remember, guys, dua is a part of worship. And in my opinion, honestly, it's one of the best ways of getting closer to Allah, whatever the dua is. If you keep making it and not stopping it. Allah never ever wants to discourage you from making a dua, by the way. Never. Because it's a part of worship. And what do those test signs make you want to do? They make you want to stop the dua. And when you stop the dua, what are you stopping? You're also stopping that part of worship. So are they test signs or are they not? They're meant to test you. True signs also have a pattern. They have a theme to them. They have a connection. They're like puzzle pieces. They do not function on their own, which ironically is why anyone that looks at a true sign, what do you notice? It's never enough. You want more, to be more convinced. Like the miracles with Prophet Ibrahim, they weren't enough, which is why he asked him how to revive the dead, right? To reassure his heart, exactly. So from the beginning, true signs are never enough. They will always need a connection. They become enough when you connect the puzzle pieces. You connect that sign you had yesterday, you connect the one that you had before it, and you start to notice a pattern. So that's what that's saying. Negative signs, or the test signs basically, they function on their own. Because what are they? They're literally just, that dua is bad for you. Allah removed them from your life because they're bad for you. There is no puzzle pieces. There is no connection. They function on their own. Because literally, yeah, that's the point. They're meant to piss you off, to frustrate you. They're tests. وَعَسَنْ تَكْرَهُ شَيْئًا وَخَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. They're tests. They're meant to elevate your status. Allah's testing. So after those beautiful signs that I gave you, and you believe in me, and you believe that I am showing you that this is just bad for you for now, but I'm going to answer you because I never not answer you. Let me test you with fake signs to see if you will stop making the dua. And a lot of us fail that test. Do you see what I mean? Also, dua is the best way with istikhara to develop your yaqeen, which again, all those videos that keep claiming the entire thing about it's your eyes. You look, you see all the red flags are telling you this dua is bad for you, but you still try to out dua the thing, expecting some form of miracle to happen that switches it. But you're just in fact being delusional, stupid, whatever, right? Then how do you develop your yaqeen if all you do is follow your eyes? No one answers that question. How do you develop your yaqeen then? Which is literally complete trust in Allah. Not faith or trust, which is incomplete trust. Yaqeen is the highest. There is no levels to yaqeen. But I like to refer to it as true yaqeen because a lot of us think what they have is yaqeen, but it isn't. The same with patience. That's why it's referred to as true patience. Because there's only the highest level, which is true patience, the one without limits. Same with yaqeen. There are no levels to yaqeen, guys. If someone has yaqeen, it is the yaqeen. But if you just claim you have it, that is not yaqeen. Especially if it's not complete trust in Allah. So how do you develop that? You develop it by facing an adversity. And that's literally the only way, which completely contradicts what they're saying. So when you see all the red flags, that is your cue to develop your yaqeen. When you see a red flag and your heart is telling you, make the dua. That's your yaqeen developing. And yes, you're right, your life becomes a lot more miserable because you keep making the dua. Because that's your yaqeen developing, subhanAllah. Even though your life becomes a lot more miserable, you are getting so much closer to Allah than almost everybody else. You're witnessing the true power of Allah more than everybody else. That's how it works. Because you keep climbing higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher, ignoring all the red flags in front of you. Because you saw the true signs that had a connection, while the fake ones do not. They're meant to test you. That's their point. Another thing, true signs do not come in abundance like fake signs do. So they function on their own, the fake signs, and they also come in abundance. There are a lot of them. And they only happen when it's a bad day or an invisibly good day. Your mood all of a sudden is just, you're so sad. That's usually when you find a fake sign. But the true signs, they come not in abundance because, as I said, they're like puzzle pieces. They only come maybe sometimes in abundance when it's the beginning of your dua, because you don't know the answer. Exactly. Subhanallah. And as I said, true signs do not function on their own. They need a connection with the other true signs that were sent before them or after them and so on to form a picture. The fake signs, it's straightforward. It's right in your face. And obviously as well, you ask Allah, guys. You ask Allah. Is this sign real, Allah, or is this to test me? Yes, say that. Are you testing me, or is this real? It's okay to say that. Wallahi, He will answer you, and He will show you that He's testing you. Or He'll show you that He's actually, no, this is what I'm telling you. This is bad. Also, a lot of scholars, when they talk about istikhara, they say it has nothing to do with your heart. It's all about the events unfolding. However, I've noticed that every single video that says that, at least the ones I noticed, they do not mention what about the times when it becomes easy, but then it becomes difficult. Or it becomes difficult and then it becomes easy. So what is that then? Allah's playing games with you? So is it about the events unfolding? Or is it the events unfolding with what your heart feels when those events unfold? Because Allah tests, and dua is a part of worship. So expect that you're going to be tested. Every time you make a dua, you will be tested. That's how it works. Because you're coming closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is an ayah that I love in Surah Al-Ankabut, where Allah says, أحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. So what Allah is beautifully saying is, do those people think that once they say, we believe, Ya Allah, that they're going to be left without being put to the test or something? So no. When you keep coming closer to Allah, I believe your signs, Ya Allah. I believe you, Ya Allah, with whatever you're showing me. You're going to be tested on that. Which is why those fake signs are there. To test you. By believing those true signs. It's also why every time you see a true sign, you really believe it. And it's such a powerful sign. And the more powerful it is, the worse the test after it that's going to come is going to be. Because that sign is so powerful. It's literally telling you something about the future, as I said in my video about signs and such. That's why. Because it's such a powerful sign. If the test after it is not as powerful, it's not going to shake you whatsoever. I literally had a sign, never expected it. It is so damn specific, it's honestly scary. And no matter what the test is, this is not going to shake me or make me doubt it at all. So the test becomes so powerful as well. That's why. Subhanallah. And as I said, those videos do not show. They say that Allah sends positive signs or sends negative signs, that something is good for you or bad for you. But just like with the istikhara as well, again, they don't mention what about the fact that He actually never does that and He sends both. Do you see what I mean? He does send both. Anyone that makes dua can attest to this. He sends both. He doesn't send one. Do you see? It's because it's such a hard topic to discuss. That's why. So it's much easier to just say, be very general with what you're saying and vague. Well, He does send to show you that it's good for you or that it's bad for you. True. However, He does send both. That it's good and it's bad. And it's up to you to know the difference. And these are your hints. Subhanallah. Always talk with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Always. Whatever it is. Even about the signs. Even about confirming your signs. Even if it's a fake sign. Even if it's a true sign. Talk to Allah. He's the one that sends you those signs. So why would He not answer you and tell you if they're fake or not? Do you see what I mean? Because He will answer you for your heart. And you will know. It won't be the, what if it's just me being delusional and it's just my heart pretending? No, it's not. Wallahi, it's not. SubhanAllah. And I've noticed this in a lot of those videos. They say something that I will never understand, guys, and I'm being honest. Wallahi, I tried and I spoke with Allah multiple times about it. It doesn't make sense to me. Allah is teaching you a lesson of why that's bad, because you're refusing to listen to the red flags that He's clearly showing you that it's bad. So He's going to teach you a harsh lesson of why it's bad. Does that sound like something the All-Merciful will be doing? Especially when you're praying istikhara sincerely. Remember, sincerely. So you're actually coming to Him for guidance. Did Allah do the same thing to Prophet Ibrahim, who told him to show him how to revive the dead? He tested him with just saying, by scaring him. Test of fear, remember? Why? Do you not believe in me or something? Were those signs not enough for you to believe? No, of course they were, Allah. It's just to reassure my heart. I just want it to be completely reassured. So what did Allah say? It's reassured enough? No. He showed him how He revives the dead. Do you see what I mean? He made him do a lot of effort, go on top of each mountain with the pieces of the bird, and then call for it, and all the pieces come together and they revive it right in front of him, right? He made him work for it. Exactly. SubhanAllah. Because obviously Allah can just revive them by saying kun. But He didn't want that. He wants you to make effort for your dua. That's the point why He made him go up on top of the mountain and all of this, to see how serious He is about wanting this. And that's the lesson for us. So why would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teach you a harsh lesson of why something is bad for you when you pray istikhara sincerely with yaqeen to Him, or high trust, because yaqeen is rare? Why would He teach you a lesson? Because you know what, in a way, those scholars or people are saying? What they're indirectly saying is basically, Allah is saying, well, since you refuse to listen and you're being delusional, I'll show you why it's bad. I'll teach you a harsh lesson to show you. However, you already came to Him for guidance and you keep doing it. You're not doing istikhara once. You're doing it multiple times. You're coming to Him for guidance. And you are willing to throw your trust in His hands. So would the All-Knowing not know that this would not have been enough for you to be convinced that it's bad? Or is He just testing you? What makes more sense? The All-Knowing knows your answer, knows what you're going to do before you even do it. Yet His name is still the listener as well, because He loves to listen. So He knows this wouldn't have been enough for you to be convinced. Do you see what I mean? Why would He teach you a lesson if you came to Him by praying istikhara for guidance, sincerely? Why would He teach you a lesson? Also, those people or scholars don't mention the fact, what about those people that have let go of their dua because of those fake signs? And then they find themselves all of a sudden making their dua again. So is that Allah bringing them back to their dua to teach them a lesson? Because I cannot tell you how many of us, including me, left my dua for thinking it's bad for me. And then what happened? I find myself unable to stop the dua. I literally find myself unable to stop the dua. Right? So is Allah bringing you back to the dua so He can teach you that harsh lesson that He wanted to give you? Or is He bringing you back to the dua to tell you, you just need to be patient? It's just a test. Harsh, but it is a test. And it's to bring you closer. And you will see the massive rewards you'll be getting at this in the end. Right? So that also is not mentioned in the videos. But I'm sure the answer is going to be what? You're weak. You're delusional. You don't want to stop the dua. Yet I've seen so many of my followers literally stopping their dua for more than 3 days after a long time of making the dua, by the way. And then all of a sudden the dua just comes into their hearts and they're unable to stop. They literally get pissed at themselves because they're unable to stop the dua because of those videos, claiming that it makes them basically weak or delusional. Do you see what I mean? How sad. I've also noticed a weird trend here with those videos as well. They keep claiming these things about when it comes to love. You're ignoring the red flags and you can't out-dua anything. You're expecting some miracle to happen even though the red flags are right in front of your eyes that it's bad for you, that kind of thing, right? However, what about those other scenarios, not love, where there were also a bunch of red flags? People were telling you not to take this job, or people were telling you whatever, but you still decided to make dua. But nothing is mentioned about that. So why is it only about love? I'll tell you, because love is the most difficult one, because it has to do with a lot of commitment and responsibility. So you are a lot more scared of ending up with the wrong person, that it's going to make your life miserable. So that's why it's always about love. But every other scenario, you literally find yourself, there are a bunch of red flags as well. Yet you didn't find any problem in seeing that Allah is testing you with those. But when it came to love, that's where we draw the line. Do you see what I mean? And you would be right. Love is the most difficult one. As I said in my delusions video, love for the sake of Allah is a whole other level of love, not comparable to any other love. No matter what kind of love you've seen, it's probably not love for the sake of Allah, because it's that rare. However, once you experience it, that's when you know what it actually feels like, because it's a level that's not comparable to anything else. Subhanallah. You can watch my delusions video for a little more of hints about what love for the sake of Allah feels like, somewhat. Also, a lot of those videos about istikhara say that you pray istikhara when you're about to make the decision. So in other words, you're praying it once. That's wrong. You pray it consistently until your heart tells you the answer. Which is ironically why, look at anyone that's been praying istikhara a long time and look at their lives, and I bet they will not tell you their lives became easy after that istikhara. It became more miserable. No matter, even if it is good or bad, it became miserable. Why? Because it's part of worship. The dua of istikhara, it's a dua. It introduces more tests into your life. That's why it becomes more difficult. However, those people, look at them before they made the istikhara and look how now they talk about Allah. And notice the difference in their worship. Notice the difference in the way they refer to Allah. Notice the difference in the way they are a lot more patient. Even though they are very sad and depressed, but notice the closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do you see what I mean? So if you get an undeniable sign, which is why the powerful dua I made is for that reason. If you get an undeniable sign from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, know that the test that's going to follow that undeniable sign is going to be on that level of undeniable, because it's going to be that difficult, since that sign is so undeniable. Do you see what I mean? One of my comments once said, the prophets are different because they have a level of reassurance that we do not get with our signs. But if that were the case, then why are they shaken and also struggling to be patient, even though Allah literally sends an angel to reassure them that something is going to happen? Because the test is on that level of reassurance the sign is, same as with our undeniable signs. If that's truly the case and we do not get reassurance, just not the same level as theirs, but we do get enough reassurance, then why is Allah telling us their stories in such detail? Why is He telling us how they reacted? to that reassurance after them when their life switched completely as always, but the yaqeen is developing? Why did he tell us all of these? Is it to clap for them? Or is it because they are our role models? As Allah said in Surah Al-Ahzab verse 21. In my Prophet, there is an excellent example to follow for those of you that want the life of the hereafter and remember Allah a lot, right? Because they are our role models. We are meant to follow them. So how are we meant to follow someone that is different than us? Or is it just their levels that are different? But they are not different. Do you see what I mean? They may get a very high level of reassurance just as they get a high level of tests. But it's not completely different because we also get a high level of reassurance and a high level of test, just not the same as theirs. But it is enough reassurance, because if it weren't, then they are not our role models. And again, that would answer the question, why does every time you get a sign that is so powerful, you believe it, you cry? Let's be real, we see that happen a lot of times. You cry, you get so emotional, you're so happy. Subhanallah, my dua has been answered. This is the most beautiful sign I've ever seen. Thank you, Allah. And then what happens? The next day, it completely switches. Everything is telling you that was fake. Everything is telling you this is wrong. Everything is telling you this is bad for you. And you start crying, right? Then what is that? Subhanallah. I'll also be making a video soon, inshallah, after this one, about what kind of tests have I been going through. You know, with the ticket to Allah that I mentioned in my very first post, the reason I'm literally doing any of this. I'll make a video about that, inshallah. Let me know if you want that video. And as I said, literally so many of my followers have told me this. When they see a fake sign, well, they don't think of it as a fake sign. When they see a fake sign, for example, because of those videos, as you know, so obviously they believe that this is not a fake sign, the test sign thing, what happens? They literally say the famous word, I don't want to make the dua now because I'm scared. I don't want to even make the istikhara because every time I do, what happens? They say it, as you can see. Their lives get more difficult. It's Allah teaching me a harsh lesson that this is bad. So is that being delusional? Why would Allah be teaching you a harsh lesson if you literally are saying, I'm scared of making the dua because it makes my life difficult? So that means you're not at all denying what's going on around you or denying the red flags, as the videos are saying. It's your heart that's telling you to keep going, because that's Allah's way of communicating with you. Which is why He said it's the hearts that are blind, not the eyes. Do we see Allah with our eyes, or do we see Him with our hearts? Exactly. And there is no logic when it comes to Allah. Anything else, yes. But when it comes to Allah, there is no logic. I also, in my opinion, firmly believe if you're someone that always throws your trust in Allah, you always come to Him for guidance, praying istikhara for everything and not just marriage. Sincerely, you're trying to develop your yaqeen, you're trying to keep coming closer to Allah, it's impossible to make a bad dua. Allah's not going to allow a bad dua to even enter your heart in the first place. And if you are making a bad dua, He'll make you stop right from the beginning. You'll find yourself unable to continue. Or when you pray istikhara for that dua, you will stop. Just like our beloved prophets, none of them make bad duas. So hopefully this answers enough of our questions, inshallah. And I'm sure this is going to be a sign to a lot of you, subhanallah. And let me know if you want me to make that video about my ticket to Allah. May Allah grant us all al-Firdaus al-A'la and not al-Jannah.